So my name is Bernardo Treviso. I am an art teacher at the USD 259 school district in Wichita. I teach in an elementary school called Cloud Elementary. I teach grades kindergarten through fifth grade, and uh, extracurricular activities I do. Originally went to college to WSU, Wichita State, to become an artist. I got my BFA in drawing and painting. So extracurricular activities. I'm basically um, uh, I like to say full-time professional artist. I sell paintings. I paint. I draw. I do animation. And I've sold paintings. Around the U.S. So I'm not, super famous or super rich, but I mean, I'm a professional working artist, and I feel like that's important to show my students. Um, so why I got into teaching? I got into teaching because um, I teach at a school that in the community I grew up in, heavily Mexican American. So I wanted to give back to my community. I wanted to show these kids that someone that looks like them can be successful in life as an artist or whatever they want to do in life. And I wanted to show these kids that they can do that as well. So that's why I wanted to become a teacher. So one of the things that I feel was what stood out to me as the most critical thing in the KSDE report card was the video posted about graduation rates and how they're important. Um, my district is pretty big. It's basically all of Wichita, and all the schools there are, it varies. Some schools have high graduation rates, some have low graduation rates, and basically they just kind of formulated a plan that will encourage. Well, it'll keep the schools that have high graduation rates. It keeps them on that track, and for those that have low graduation rates, there's a plan set in place for them. And basically, it talked about how, as elementary teachers, we are at the forefront of starting these starting ways of um, teaching kids the importance of graduating and going to school. And the way they do that is to they basically had teachers ask themselves questions like, um, as students leave, did we prepare them to be socially and emotionally ready to achieve when things get hard? Did we teach them to be conscientious, responsible, and reliable through real world experiences to help build career exploration? So basically, did we prepare them to be successful in the real world? And and one of the things that they recommend we do is do things like uh, basically incorporate personalized learning into the classroom. Um, and so what we do is building meaningful relationships with our students. Uh, so we try to figure out the culture of each class. Like, what are these kids into? What do they care about? What are they passionate about? What are they good at? And you basically build assignments based on these criteria. So um, that's a challenge. The challenge there is first of all, it's trying to get to know the students and what they're into, and try to incorporate that into lesson plans and that fit with the standards, so they can actually enjoy their learning, because it involves a process or something that they care about. In my case, it's art. There's different sorts of art practices that can be involved, so I feel like it's a little bit easier for me because I can incorporate things like video games, animation and stuff like that. Animation, video games, apps, um, computer games. A lot of my students are into video games like Fortnite, and they're all about the tablets now. So how can we use those to incorporate them into the art classroom while hitting our standards, while teaching them? And it's an interesting project. It's difficult. It's challenging, but it's rewarding in itself. Another thing we have to do is get parents involved. Parent involvement is very important, which is one of the things the graduation tab in the report card was speaking about, is how um, more parent involvement brings it brings attention. Well, the thing is involving parents allows teachers the opportunity to um, communicate areas where the students are struggling, so they can help them at home. Um, it it curves absenteeism because teachers are have readily available access to parents. They can email them, they can text them, they can call them at any time because they have that relationship. And one of the things that my school strives for and is pretty successful at is building a family environment. We have things called Family Fun Night, which incorporate choir, different, singing for the music teachers, activities, physical activities for PE teachers, robotics with the science teachers, and I didn't really do much this year with art because it was my first year and I was just learning everything. But one of the things I plan to do is do an art show for students that are interested and want to sign up for it. So it'll be like a legit gallery setting, but within the school in like a family fun night. And another thing would be doing an animation club, which teaches them the foundations of basically all the video games and things they're interested. And I think as fourth and fifth graders, that's who are doing the club. They really enjoy that, from what I've saw from projects that I did this past year. So those are some of the challenges that I believe, um, developing a more personalized learning environment brings. But it's worth it because in the end, you build those meaningful relationships, and at the same time, they care about their learning, which leads to a more successful student, which would lead to, hopefully in the future, well-rounded individuals who graduate high school and are successful and end up going to college and end up in careers that they really enjoy. So um, it's a huge task, but I think with a lot of the teachers, the team we have, we're going to be successful at it. So, yeah.